Hi everybody, this is Mr. Danzel. Welcome back to our umbrella project. Since we stopped yesterday, we have to open up our file, so go into your H drive and you're going to open up your umbrella project. Okay, so we are actually going to add a little border around our picture. First thing we need to do is go up to color and make sure the background color is white. If we click on this right here, this may come up. You might also be able to just go in here into swatches and select white. We need to make sure that is white. We're then going to go to Image, Canvas Size, and we're going to change the width to 580 pixels and our height to 440 pixels. Then click OK. And we now have a little bit of a white border around our picture. Okay, next we're going to select our umbrella layer. It's clear at the top. And we're going to add a new layer to it. We're going to call this layer Leaves. And click OK. We need the brush tool, so make sure your brush tool is selected right here. If we go over here, click on this, go to Brushes, we're going to go back into our Legacy brushes. Legacy, Default, and we're going to look for the Scattered Maple Leaves brush. It's going to be down here a ways. But not that far. There we go. Right under Dune Grass. So Scattered Maple Leaves is what we're looking for. Okay, once we have our brush selected, we're going to go back to Brush Settings. And in Brush Settings, we're going to click on Shape Dynamics. Where it says Size Jitter Control, right up here. We're going to change that to Fade. And we want the value of that to be 50. Right there. And the roundness jitter, we're going to change that to 40. So it should look something like that. After we have those things set, we're going to select Scattering. We're going to change this value up here to 265 and our count value to 1. Just like that. Then we're going to click on Brush Tip Shape. We're going to change the size of this to 65. And then once we have those settings, we're going to go back to Brushes. We're going to go down at the bottom and click on New, Create New Brush. We're going to call it Leaves 65. Leaves 65. And then click OK. On the color panel, we want I'm going to go into swatches. We want a dark, warm yellow. Dark, warm yellow. I'm just going to go with pure yellow right there. Oops. I think I want it to be my foreground color though. Just like that. And make sure we still have our Leaves 65 brush, which I believe we do right here. And we're going to change the mode to normal and the opacity to 100. And now we are ready to actually put some leaves into our picture. So we're going to get rid of our brushes, and if we start right up about here, we drag it down, we'll create some leaves for our picture, something like that. Then make sure you save. Next, we're going to add an image to this, so we're going to go to File, Open, and in that umbrella folder there should be a file called 08 Flower. So click on that and click Open. After that, we are going to go to Edit and Define Brush Preset. We're simply going to call it Flower, and then click OK. So we now have a custom brush that's going to look like this image. We can close that. Back here, we're going to go into the Brush Settings panel, Brush Tip Shape, change the size to 25, and spacing to 80. Then we're going to go into Shape Dynamics. Size Jitter Control, we want it to be off, just like that. Our roundness jitter should be 44%. And our minimum roundness, we want it to be 39%. Then click on Scattering. Set the scatter value to 500 and our count to 1. And then finally, click on Color Dynamics. Change the hue jitter to 15. Now that all those brush settings in place, let's go ahead and close that. We're going to go back to the umbrella layer and expand all the layers. So we're going to click on that little arrow and expand all of them. And we need to make them all visible. So we're going to click on the eyeballs right there for everything underneath the umbrella layer. With the umbrella layer still selected, we're going to add a new layer. We're going to call it Flowers. And click OK. We're going to move the Flowers layer around. We need to move it down between Frame and Wet Dark Blue. So now it's underneath Frame. Next, we're going to go up to Select. I believe Flowers should still be selected. Let's go to Select and Load Selection. And we're going to change the channel to Alpha 4. Change the channel to Alpha 4, then click OK. Okay, so ensure that our brush tool is still our flower. If it's not, you might be able to go in and select flower. In the color panel or swatches, we need a bright red color. I'm going to go with that one right there. And then we're going to paint flowers onto the surface of our umbrella. You may have already figured this out, but I actually made red my my background color, and that's not what we want. I'm going to undo, and I'm going to select my foreground, make sure it is red, make the background white, and now when I select, it's like that. The last step in the umbrella painting is we're going to go over here in the layers, we're going to change normal to multiply, and we're going to change the opacity down to about 70, and so it'll have a little bit more of an effect like that. Make sure you save your work. Okay, we're almost to our last step. We're going to be framing the picture. If the umbrella is still selected, you may need to go to Select and Deselect, but if you're done with that, we're ready to go to File, Open. We need to open up this texture file. First thing we need to do is resize it. So we're going to go to Image, Image Size. We're going to change the image size to approximately 780 there and 580 here. It may not allow you to change or keep both of them. Let's just make this 780 and we'll go with it. And then click OK. Okay, we need to save this file. So go to File, Save As, and save it in your H drive. We're going to call it Matt underscore your name, just like that. Then click Save. Okay, now we're going to go back to the umbrella file, and we're going to go to Image and Duplicate. We're going to call this Autumn underscore flat your name. Then once we've named it that, go ahead and click OK. So it's created a duplicate of that. Then we're going to go over here to the Layers panel right here, and we want to flatten the image. So down here at the bottom, click on Flatten Image. Doesn't appear that much happened yet. We need the Move tool. So go back over, select the Move tool. And holding down on Control and Alt, I know you can't see me doing that, but hold down on Control, Alt. We're going to drag this onto the Matte menu, just like that. So now it appears that we have kind of a border or a matte around our image. The last step, make sure Layer 1 is selected, and we're going to add a layer style right here. We're going to choose Inner Shadow, and we've got several different options here that we can pick from. First of all, we're going to change the opacity to 85. We're going to change the distance to 6 and the size to 7. It appears mine was already like that. Click OK. So let's add a little bit of a shadow around there. Save it, and you are done.